Welcome to the Bolder Than Most podcast. This is episode 4. I'm your host, Trae Jacobs, and today we are joined by none other than Mother effing Ellie Baxter. Ellie, what's good? How you doing?
Yeah. Hello, Trey. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me. I'm so excited to be
Yes.
here.
Listen, guys, we had a little bit of technical difficulties before signing on tonight. So if you guys ever need like tech help, definitely reach out to Ellie. Like, please, seriously. Um, It was actually mind blowing how technologically savvy she is.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. So you just moved out to Charlotte. How's it been?
It's good. It's good. It's been awesome. I've been extremely fortunate to have, the team that I'm working with. And I just acquired 65 units here in Charlotte. So I'm here to get, my hands dirty to learn asset management and to get to see friends and family here. So I love it.
Oh, you have family out there?
I do. Yeah. Not in
Nice.
Charlotte, but in Raleigh. Mm. I have no idea.
Yeah. You that new. How long has it been?
A month today.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. That's what's up.
I think I'm South End. I don't know, Trey. Who knows?
South End. I've never been to Charlotte. It's definitely one of the places that I want to go because it seems like a pretty cool city.
There's actually a lot to do. I didn't realize how much there is to do.
Like what? What have you found so far?
Well, I haven't done anything because all I do is work. But
Right.
I see stuff all over Instagram, and people are always like, "Oh, like for instance, with the holidays coming up, there's like so many like like watching light shows and festivals and stuff like that." So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. Um, and I feel like I kind of glossed over this, but you just closed on 65 doors. Congratulations. That's awesome.
thank you.
Yeah. Where's that one at?
It's in here in Charlotte. It's only like 15 minutes away.
Nice. So you're going to be asset managing, boots on the ground, all that fun stuff?
Oh yeah, I've been doing that since the moment I got here. Like as soon as
Nice.
I landed, I got my car and I drove to the apartment complex.
Oh, man, that's exciting. That's really exciting. How's
Yeah.
it been? How long have you guys had the property?
We closed August 10th.
Okay, so a little bit of time now. How has it been so far?
It's been amazing. Like it's just been so cool to see, like there's been challenges, there's been a lot of good things have happened too, but it's been awesome because it's my first property with my partners, Stacy Furl, John Sable, and Ed Ngani. And it's just been awesome to work with them. To go, we actually just had some of our LPs come out, and so we filmed some
Nice.
content, got to show
Oh
them
yeah.
around. It's been crazy to see like the renovations, and I've been doing a lot of content like before and after. So look forward to that. And yeah, it's just been awesome. I love it.
That's so great, man. Are you guys renovating all 65 units or what's
Mhm.
your plan?
Yep, we're renovating all 65. We bought these units already. They're really pretty in great shape already. So our they weren't there's not a lot to be done. The biggest thing that we're doing is the electricity. So we're actually doing copper aluminum to copper wiring. So that is the biggest expense for our capex. Other than that though, we're doing a lot of cool interior and exterior stuff like we're doing like a dog park and stuff like that. But we bought it really well maintained. Like there isn't a lot of interior exterior things to renovate.
A lot of people aren't closing deals right now. Where did you guys source that one from?
So our KP, Brian Briscoe. So back in July, Brian Briscoe reached out to me and was like, "Hey, here are some properties that I just KP closed on. Pick out which one you want and raise with me." And so I called up Stacy and I was like, "Hey, do you want to raise capital?" And she was like, "Yes." And so we got together, we underwrote all the properties, and the Charlotte one came up, and it was just like the best for numbers. It's kind of like my backyard, right? My whole family's from North Carolina. The market is incredible here, and it just like everything just worked perfectly to get onto that deal.
Your partner's names. It was Stacy, right?
Yeah, so Stacy,
Stacy. And she, is it just you and her on BNF Capital?
that is correct.
Yeah. So what's your guys' philosophy? How do you guys handling business over there?
Um, Well, I mean, there's a lot. I think that we're still so new. So right now we're really focused on operational stuff. So trying to figure
Right.
out, like how, we're already trying to set goals up for 2024. And there's a lot of cool stuff cooking. So right now it's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of Excel spreadsheets. It's a lot of late nights. We're currently raising on a deal right now. So, like, we're just trying to do so much all at once. And it's a lot, but it's exciting. And, like, that's what the part of the journey is.
Yeah, nice. Tell me about the deal that you're currently raising for.
So, it's a property in Iowa. And where I'm actually teaming up with some people from Multifamily Mindset, Alan Atkins, James McCabe, and Jake Michelle.
Okay. How many doors?
203.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Closing next week.
Okay. You guys still looking for to fill up, or are you
Yeah.
overprescribed, or
No,
I
we
don't
are still needing about 1.5.
1.5? Nice.
Mhm.
Well, if you're listening, you got 1.5, hit up Ellie Baxter, BNF Capital. She'll take care of you. What attracted you to that market? Idaho, right?
Iowa.
Iowa. Same difference.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, no, I didn't really know anything about it until the deal was brought to me by Alan, and Alan and I are, like, really good friends. We signed up the same day when we joined Multifamily Mindset. And he is one of the few left that are still here working and doing multifamily. And from the moment I met him, I've wanted to work with him. And then James McCabe was my strategist, and he and I are like really good. I love James. And so it's an amazing opportunity to work with both of them. So they brought it to me. They brought me and Stacy, and they were like, "Hey, like we need you." And I'm like, "Let's go." So um,
Yeah.
we've been doing this for about 2 weeks now.
Oh, that's what's up, man. James McCabe. I know him. I think he's one of the guys that have one of the Rolexes in the strategist realm. Um,
Yeah, I'm not
he's a,
surprised he does. He has all of that nice stuff, so
he's a cool guy.
he's
So
amazing.
with you have a lot going on right now, right? And we'll
Mhm.
touch on more of that later. But what has kind of been your driving force? How do you stay motivated?
Wow, there's so many things, but I think it's really just knowing my why and knowing why I'm doing this, and I think it's because my main focus is freedom of time, and so I'm working really, really hard to obtain that. Because society tells us to be, like slaves to the 9 to 5, right? And to follow society's rules, and I just cannot, and I did that for a really long time, and I learned very quickly, especially just recently in the last year and a half that I never ever want to do it again. So that is like my motivation is to know like I never want to clock in and out again. I never want to worry about using PTO. I want to be my own boss and I want to be able to have the freedom of time to actually do the things that we should be able to do. Like to get up and go see the world. Like we have this beautiful world and people live it without ever experiencing it. And that to me is soul sucking and that's not okay. So
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you 100%. I actually had to go back to a W-2 about 2.5 months ago
mm,
because one of my content business, we're in a recession and we make money off of ads and affiliates. And if people aren't spending, we don't make money. So um, really about a month and a half ago, I really realized, hey, I do not want to be stuck and tied to this desk anymore, which
yeah.
is why I'm going like hard, right? The podcast, the
Yeah.
social media, the YouTube, right? Like having an omnipresence
I see
to
you,
increase
bro.
my reach,
Yeah.
and hopefully educate some people and
Yeah.
then, get them, to invest with me or you or anybody else that comes on this podcast. Really,
Yeah.
it's about making sure that, these goals, freedom of time, that's everybody's goal, right? Not
Mhm.
just people who are actively investing, but the passive investors too.
Totally, yeah, I
So,
see you coming in, bro, like, you should put that music in the background. "I'm coming in hot, hot," like, that's you all day, like, you,
Bow,
like,
bow, bow,
disappeared.
bow.
Yeah, and you just came right back, and so I'm super proud of all the things you're doing.
Nah, yeah, I disappeared for about 10 months. I was, head
Mhm.
down trying to bring back my other business, but it's on life support. So you know
Yeah.
what? I got the day job to kind of peace of
Hmm.
mind until we can blow this thing up.
Yeah.
And
And
that's the goal.
this is part of your journey, bro. Like, so what if you had to go back to a W-2? Just know that, like, when you go back and look at this and you're a multimillionaire, it would just appreciate the journey even more.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good chapter in my book. How about that?
There you go.
Hey, but the Trae's autobiography. So, you said you started about a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
So, how has your mindset shifted day one to where you are today?
I would say it's probably shifted probably 5 million times since day one. It's a forever changing mind. And, and some days, like, I'm gonna be completely vulnerable. Like, it is hard, Trey. It is hard. Okay. It has been an uphill, downhill battle. Like, it's just been like a roller coaster. But I wouldn't change it for the world. It has been so amazing to see what I have been able to accomplish. It's also been amazing for the people that I have met. I think that has been one of my number one things that I've really enjoyed about this journey is the community, the people, the relationships, that I have accumulated. And so my mind has definitely been a lot clearer on that aspect. And I'm just happier. I'm much happier than I was when I first started multifamily. When I first started multifamily, I was depressed. It was the heaviest I'd ever been my entire life. I was divorced. I was sad. And then it literally like lit a fire to my ass. And I was like, fuck, like I am going to change my life. And since then, it's been extremely, yeah, amazing, but also extremely difficult. Probably the hardest year I've ever had. It's been awesome.
Yeah, but a lot of people look at you and you are a success story, 100%. I mean, what is you're raising now on your third or fourth multifamily deal?
My third, yeah.
Like, you, man, the success rate for all of these students in these courses is very, very low, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've beat the odds, right? I mean, I have one deal under my belt, but you have more than me, more than man. You're up there. You're doing the damn thing. So congratulations.
Thank
Um, when you have those limiting beliefs, right? What are you doing? How are you handling those? How are you overcoming those obstacles?
I think it's just like kind of what I just told you, that it's just part of the journey, right? Like I have to just be okay with the fact that if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? If it was easy, it wouldn't be as enjoyable, right? So that's why I know that even when there's really hard days or hard months or hard weeks, I know that I will get stronger and better after every single hump. So I just know that I will never ever be where I used to be. And so that's what allows me to just like take a deep breath and just know it's going to be okay. And know that, with the support and love that I have and support and love that I give to others, that, that we can all run across that finish line together. And then that just is so what helps me during those times where I'm just like, oh, this is so hard.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I have a lot. I mean, honestly, I think our goals are so big that they scare regular folks, right?
Mhm.
Like, I am a little nervous to tell people, right? Like, hey, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z because, a lot of people can't comprehend when you have goals that are so big that they just seem unattainable.
Yeah.
So with that comes those limiting beliefs. So I'm constantly telling myself over and over and over
Yeah.
again that I'm fully capable of doing everything that I have outlined on my goals list over and over and over again. Um, and I have multiple reasons, right? Like limiting belief number one, this is the one that comes up the most. Well, here's 5 reasons why that's not true and why you're
Right.
going to punch that limiting belief in the face and make shit happen.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
I love that.
So you are hosting, organizing a lot of events. How is
Yeah.
that impacting business? Tell me more about what goes into creating a virtual event, an in-person event, and
Yeah. So I do a few events a month. And I'm actually starting in a couple more events. You guys, for anyone that knows me and anyone that doesn't, you'll know that my favorite thing in the world to say is your network is your net worth. And it is 100% true. And I have found so much power in that. And that is why I am a connector. And the famous words of James McCabe, he always likes to tell people, what are you? Like, what defines you? And I am a connector. I love, love, love connecting people because the more value that you can bring to others, the more value comes to you, right? And
Right.
it's not about who can succeed the most. It's not about getting first place. It's about what can we all do to succeed together. And I just absolutely love that so much. So I am part of what's called Wise Women Invest in Real Estate, and that's with Dee Dee Boring, and that is just trying to get more women, right, to come into this space because there's just not enough of us, but men are welcome to come too. And so we actually have our very first event here in Charlotte in January, and I'm so excited to have one of the best speakers in the world, Melissa Forbush. She's going to come and speak, and I'm really stoked about that. And then we have a Charlotte squad, so like a whole group of people that I've met in the Charlotte area that meets once a month. And we just did that last month as well too. 2 days after I moved here,
Ooh.
it was Stacy's
Whoa.
idea, and I was like, "Cool, let's just go ahead and add that to the move." We decided to do an event for the Charlotte Squad. We got Brian Briscoe and Brock Marriages, our sponsor, to get onto a Zoom call. We had our underwriter John Sable fly up from Orlando, and he talked about his underwriting. So, bro, like when I do an event, Stacy and we go ham. We want to make sure that we can add as much value as possible to these. So we have food, we have drinks, we have a great spot for the location, and amazing speakers. And again, it's just networking is so powerful, and it's just helped a lot of people connecting, being like, oh, you do property management, I want to work with you. Oh, like you do construction, I would love to get your number. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
seeing this happen during every single event, and it's so awesome. It's so empowering. So that's why I love doing it, and I have more coming up this next year. So
What would you give, or what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start their own networking event?
yeah, so I would say start start small. You don't need to go big right away. I started small first, and I would say figure out kind of how you want to set it up. Like, who are you catering to? Who is your audience, right? Are you trying to target like medical professionals? Are you trying to target, just like everyday entrepreneurs? Are you trying to target, people in the tech, right? And then
Right.
I think that you'll find so many more people that have that same mindset when you do that. And so when you do that, then I would make sure that you market the crap out of yourself. Give yourself enough time between now and the event to like find the location. Like call up your local pizzeria and be like, hey, do you have a spot that we can use? And we will make sure that each one of us have to spend like $5 on a pizza, right? Because that gives them business, and it gives us to be able to utilize the space. So you're kind of giving like it's a win-win situation. And then once you do that, just make sure that you have a fill-in sheet, like where people a sign up sheet where people are signing up, because those
Hmm.
people will come to the next one and then come to the next one, and then they will tell their friends and tell their friends. And then you want to make sure that you put them into your CRM and then start inviting them to every single one. That is what builds up your clientele, is what builds up your network.
What would you say to the person who wants to start an event, right? But they see other real estate events in a similar niche in their area.
Mm, I would say go to that one,
Hmm.
meet those people, and team up.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Be like,
Hey,
oh,
that's-
look, we have the same mindset. I want to do what you do, and I can add value because I have people that would want to come. Can we host the next one together? Boom.
yeah. Any lessons learned? Like, if like, what was the hardest thing learned about doing these events?
Marketing. Seriously, because like I had the speakers, I had, the food, I had the things I wanted, but people are very busy, and it can be very difficult during the times where summer people are always gone, holidays people are always gone, so that's why I would say when you market, make sure that there's definitely at least a month in between every single one,
Yeah.
allowing you to do videos and to just like spread the word as much as possible.
Yeah. Where do all these people going? I don't go nowhere. I'm
I
always in the
know.
house. Right. Like,
They go to Maui, they going to Italy, I don't know.
yeah, we'll be there eventually. Our time is
Mhm.
coming. So you are starting a fund. Are you tying any of these events to your fund?
No, I mean, yes and no, like I'm talking about it, but we're looking to launch the fund in January. And so right now we are just prepping. There's just that's like my biggest thing right now is prepping, getting that ready. And then in January is that's when it will explode. And
What does it take to set up a fund?
It really depends on what kind of fund you're using and how you want to go about it. Some people kind of do it like depending on what kind of experience you have. It could be, where you're going and doing all the docs, or you're getting someone to help you with that, CC, right? All that jazz. However, we're using a platform called Avestor,
Mm.
and it's actually a really cool platform that helps with everything. They help you with your K-1s, they help you with your, setting up the actual fund and your bank account, all of that jazz, the software, everything. So right now, we're really just focusing on our business model, how we wanna do this, how we want to deploy, all that jazz.
What's your ideas on how you're going to deploy the funds once you have them?
So we want to do kind of in general. I'm going to tell you, Trey. You're the very first person that I'm going to tell the
Let's,
name. So the name of our fund is called Empower Her Capital.
hey, hell
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope.
And so we're going to deploy it into specific multifamily. So we might do, like come in and do the entire raise for an apartment, or I'm actually really huge into self storage. So we might actually be doing into self storage. But we're kind of just looking. We're still building that part. But the part that I'm really excited about is the AI. We're using AI to lead generation. And so, because my goal, and I'm thinking bigger, Tyler Devereaux, think bigger, and that is I want to raise 10 mil in a year, maybe even less.
$10 million every in 1 year.
Yeah, maybe even
You can do
less.
it. You
Less
can
than
do it. I believe in you.
thank you.
I I mean,
I
if
was
anybody
thinking
can do it too.
150 mil, and someone had to bring me down. They were like, no, don't do 150, start with 10 and then work your way up. I'm like, fine. So
Okay, so what made you want to start a fund? How did you guys choose to go this route?
I think that it's, people like Hunter Thompson, you know, um, Bigger Pockets, like everyone has a fund. And going to these network events, I'm like, everyone's like, yeah, I made a fund. I'm doing this kind of fund. I'm doing this, a funds to funds, like fun, fun, fun. I'm like, okay, what is so big? Like, what's the big deal about funds? And I do think that it is extremely attractive, and it makes it a lot easier to be able to come in and just do the complete race. And I think that's great too. And then I also really like the concept of bringing capital to, distressed properties, right? A lot of times during this, especially during this market, people are doing, bridge loans and they can't refi, and then, or they run out of CapEx, right? And so I also want to help bring deploy capital into that aspect, because my biggest concern is when that happens and investors don't get their return back. Well, what's the number one ad? That's your mouth, right? Like if too many investors are not getting their money back, right? They're going to be telling other investors, their friends, their family, hey, don't invest in multifamily because you're not going to get your money back. And to me, that's super scary. Like that can't happen, because at the end of the day, we are here to add value to these investors. We're here to make their money work for them. And so that's one of the things I also want to do with my fund is to help deploy in commercial real estate where people need help. That way we
Yeah.
can, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. Everybody does have a fund, and everything you said makes a lot of sense. So you decided you wanted a fund. You went to Avester, and then I'm assuming there's a lot of paperwork. Uh, like, do you have to file anything with the SEC?
Yeah, they do everything for you for a flat fee,
How much is it?
18,500.
Ooh. Ooh. Now, is that one-time fee, or is there any annual fees that you have to pay to keep the fund up to date?
Yeah, so there's an annual fee and there's a monthly fee.
A monthly fee.
Yeah.
Wow, they're doing pretty well for themselves, huh?
Yeah, but they're really well known, and then from all the people that I know that use it, Avestor have had great success, so I'm excited to use them.
Okay, so you go to Avester, you get all the paperwork filled out, um, and now you have a fund, right? So the
Yeah.
goal is to use AI and automation to drive leads. Where are you driving those leads? How are you going to turn those leads into investors?
Yeah, so I'm gonna create YouTube Shorts and using AI. So AI will create me videos. I created an algorithm for when people are on YouTube or social media the most during the day, and I deploy those YouTube Shorts every single day. And and then within a very short amount of time, I'm hoping in less than 2 months, right? I want to have be monetized. Google owns YouTube, so Google will start taking those YouTube Shorts and deploy them as Google Ads for free. And then once that happens, then I'm looking at 10x more amount of people seeing my ads, seeing my YouTube Shorts. When that happens, then they can click my link, they see like a landing page, and then we hold weekly or bi-weekly webinars to talk about the debt fund. But they also just go in and fill out the form, and they can also just immediately also they're like, "Hey, I love this. I'm about it." Then they can also invest right then and there as well.
You're gonna have to send me some stuff on the YouTube sharing your shorts with Google, because I have never heard of that. And if they are doing that, that's like free game, like free advertising. That's crazy. That's
It's
crazy.
free, dude. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. I've I've never heard of that. So
Yeah.
um okay, and then you said weekly seminar or weekly calls, or what do you call
Like
them?
that webinar.
Webinars?
Mhm.
Webinars.
So, like, once you go in and there's a couple different aspects that we're kind of playing around with, but there'll be, like, a marketing phase and then the actual, fun phase. So, where you can go in and click the link, there'll be, like, educational videos where you can learn about, real estate and funds and all that jazz, and then there'll be, like, a form where you can fill out and be like, "Come to a free webinar to learn more," like, where your money will be deployed, et cetera. And then, obviously, I really don't want to lose my personal touch because that personal touch as an investor relation is really important, right? Because that's what also builds the trust between us and an investor. So then we'll go and do these webinars, and then they can ask questions and they can learn more about the fund. But they'll be able to just also, if they didn't or if they aren't available for the webinar, there's also a whole platform of YouTube videos for them to learn.
Are you gonna do like talking head videos? And is it gonna be you filming those?
It will be me and my partners that I'm doing this with.
Okay. I'll rent you guys my studio for the little
Let's
cost
go.
of.
I mean, we plan to come to DFW soon, so let's go.
Oh yeah, man. Let's
We
do
can do
it.
a video together.
I got all the gear, man.
I
All
know
the
you
gear.
do. I know. It
Uh,
look real nice and crisp over there.
Yeah, you know.
Mhm. Go ahead with your best self.
Okay. You know. Um what's your YouTube channel? How can people find you to watch your shorts that are coming out?
So that's gonna be we're launching that in January, and it's going to be called Empower Her
Okay.
Capital Funds. Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly if that's gonna be like so that's a fun name. I don't know exactly what our name will be for YouTube Shorts, so come back to
Okay.
me.
I'll whenever I get the name, I'll come back to this episode and I'll update it in the description so that folks can follow along.
I
Just
love
have to
that.
remember to send it to me, or I'll
Okay.
put a reminder in my calendar,
Yeah.
January 2nd, because January 1st, nobody's no good.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing it. I'm gonna be in bed.
Yeah. Um, So, active investors, are you saying that if you're an active investor, you should look into setting up your own fund?
I think you shouldn't do it right away. I think that if you're new to this space, you should raise capital first so you can learn how to do that and then look into funds.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes
But if
sense.
you are an investor, a seasoned investor who wants to deploy capital and get great returns, then I definitely think that you should do a fund. I also think, though, doing it for like a one property first also allows you to diversify your portfolio,
As a active or a passive investor?
a passive.
A passive. Is that the best or the yeah, the best benefit for passive investors? Diversification?
As an investor relations, I think it's important to diversify your investors. Investors should also diversify their portfolio by investing into multiple different kinds of real estate.
Yeah. Are there any other benefits for your investors or the passive investors that are working with a fund?
I think that with that, it can be, longer hold times, higher equity. It could also be, relationship building for, with me, right? Because like with funds, you could do like phase one, phase two, or phase three, like different phases of a fund too. So, I mean, there's a whole different things you could do. It's really fun to do, but I think um, that one investor should never invest in just one kind of real estate. They should do it in different ways.
Right. So what is your recommendation? What are the asset types an investor should look at having in their portfolio?
Commercial, single family, self storage, fund.
I guess it's three and then one that is like a combination of whatever.
Because the fund could be all of them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you have a fund, right, can you invest in anything? Like let's say you found a small business that you wanted to invest into with your fund. Is that fund only for commercial real estate?
It depends on the fund. It really
Yeah.
does. There's so many different funds. There's like Reg A funds, debt funds, there's equity funds, there's funds of funds models. I mean, there's so many different ones that you can do. Some specifically are uh, raising for just that one real estate, that one commercial real estate for that fund, right? So, like, let's say I'm getting a self storage and it's build, like it's a brand new build, and I'm like, hey, I'm raising money for this, but it's put in, it's a fundraise, right? That could be a way you could do it. Or some people that's more passive and they really don't care where the money is going. They just care about the higher pref or higher ARR. They're gonna be like, hey, here's 50,000. Just make sure that my money is getting returned and my money's working for me. And then that kind of fund model will be like, okay, cool. I have three different uh, projects going on that my fund is incorporating.
So how do the returns work in a fund, right? Like if you have a single property, you have your projected returns. If you have a fund, do you also have projected returns?
Yeah. Yep, again, it really just depends on what kind of fund model that you use. Some funds don't have a pref, some funds do have a pref, some funds have a higher equity. Some funds like because that might be on a specific just like that one apartment complex. Some funds are lower, but they have like a higher um hold time, right? So again, it's very complicated sometimes, there's a lot that goes on to it, but for me, mine is very basic and very easy model where I just wanna deploy it into my one project that, like, might have, it's a brand new build, and someone comes up to me and they say, "Hey, Ellie, can you come in and raise this entire amount, and I'll give you all of the GP for the capital, raising." I'm like, "Sure, I'll deploy all of it because I have this fund ready to go." Boom, right? And then I can do that, and then that way my investors know exactly how their money's working for them, and they're getting a great pref, good cash on cash, and they're getting AR, IR, like all of that together.
So how long do you think it would take to like fully prescribe a fund, right? Because if that process took a year or 6 months, even that first investor that signed up day one, is he going to be or is she going to be a little upset that they're not seeing any returns until that 6 month mark?
So that's a good question, and the only reason why I can't answer that yet is because I'm using AI. So, and AI is a whole different concept. So I'm taking away the part where I'm like trying to find investors, and I'm literally having investors come to me. And so my goal is, again, to try to raise that 10 mil. Like I could have like phase one, phase two, and phase three of this fund where I just raised, an entire raise for an apartment complex in 2 months just by using AI. And then they immediately start getting their returns back, right? In that first quarter. Right. So
Yeah.
it really just depends on how this is going to work for me. So cross fingers. But my goal is to have I actually think it would be sexy as fuck to be able to return my investors' money monthly, and that is what my goal is.
Well, I'm excited to see what you can do with AI. I mean, I use Chat GPT, but like very basic, right? Like I'm gonna take the transcript from this call and I'm gonna drop it in Chat GPT and I'm gonna get a summary that I'm gonna use for all of the descriptions for
Yeah,
everywhere that I put this, right? Like that's
love
really
that.
as far as I've taken AI.
Yeah. One of my business partners, Kylie Egan, she and I have like tag teamed and done so many cool AI stuff together. She is just like out of this world. She has gone and like created an Excel spreadsheet. We've like put stuff in there, like all this cool AI stuff that we want to start incorporating. And I mean, just a couple of nights ago, she showed me one called Gamma, and it creates your entire pitch deck. Like, bro, think about this. You find a property and you want to create a pitch deck for your investors. You tell AI to create it by doing like you just tell it specifically what you want it to do, and it creates it within less than 5 minutes.
Hmm. I saw Vanessa Alfaro talking about that recently. Is that hers or is that somebody else's?
Somebody else's.
Yeah, that's a cool tool. I'll have to check it out. It's probably not free, right?
It is free to a point, and like
Yeah.
obviously, like you do like the basic for free. So yes, there is a monthly, but the time that it saves you
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I'm a designer by day, so I could put together a pitch deck really quickly.
in 5 minutes
Um,
or less.
maybe. No, absolutely not. No. um, wow, it's crazy. What else? What other cool AI applications are you using in your business or planning to use for your business?
I had to pull up my Excel spreadsheet and show you. I'm not going
Yeah.
to. Yeah. There's so many of them that that we're still playing around with. So, like, there's, I don't know, Trey, so many.
That's okay.
OPS. There's, hold on, because there's so many things that you need for different things you do in your AI, like text to video, right?
Yeah. Text to video. So I use CapCut for that. Text. No, actually, no. Text to video. Video to text. Wait, you can take like a transcript like this
And
and
it
then
creates
AI.
a video out of your text.
That's creepy.
So OBS, um, there's Strophe for like music. There's, um, I mean, dude, there's so many. I have a whole list. But again, it's really just we're still playing with the videos. We've created a few, um, but we have like a whole 1 more month to be able to deploy it. So you'll see here starting in January.
Yeah, I could use some of the AI. I mean, posting on social media is hard, and I do all the editing for all of this myself, and it takes up way too much time. So, any way to streamline or make this process more efficient, I am 150% for.
Yeah, you can literally create like 40 videos dude, in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, you're a lot farther than a lot of people in multifamily mindset, at least. I'm curious though, what was your first investor call like? How did it go? Or the first time you actually got somebody to just say yes
Mhm.
to investing in one of your deals?
Ooh, okay. And I would probably say I'm not further than a lot of people. I'm just in a different part of my journey. I don't want to sound like a douchey dick and be like, yeah, bitch,
Well,
I'm
I will. Listen, Ellie, you are a lot further than even me, right? And I acknowledge that. And I started before you, right? Again, we're all in different seasons of our life, right?
yeah, yeah.
And your season is, you know, July, and I'm still in March.
You also had a baby and there's life that happens and there's just a lot of things, right? I'm single. I had the time, right? So like I always try to appreciate everyone's journey. Just because I'm in a different part doesn't mean that like, like your journey isn't beautiful. Like everyone is, and like where they're meant to be. So
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely understand. But
yeah.
how did that first call go? Not the first call, but the first time you actually got somebody to invest in a deal.
Mm, I can remember it like it was yesterday. It
Yeah.
was so awesome. Um, it was like I just remember just being so excited. I had been working with this person, for like a month and, um kind of doing it on my own and also obviously having support and help. Like I would not have been able to be where I am today without the help from DJ McCall, James McCabe, Tyler Devereaux, Hunter Thompson, like so many people, right? But like when it actually you can learn as much as you want, Trey, but actually putting it into fruition, like that's what I was like. So when I first did it and he oh, I just said he. Whoops. But when he first did it and put it in there, and I see it, and I got confirmation, I was just like, yeah, I was just
Yeah, yeah.
so stoked, and I was like, boom, and that's really what I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. That was what got me just to be like, I can do this. So that to me, that's what just killed it,
Oh
and I
yeah,
was
man.
going.
And you said it took a month, right? Like you didn't give up on it, right?
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
so our first deal when I was with Lucid Capital, I it was we did it in September and then we had until December. So in basically 3 months we raised 1 million.
you raised $1 million in 3 months.
And then with me and Stacy, we raised 1 million in less than two.
All right, so I have not raised that much. What tips do you have for me specifically, not anybody that's listening, but for me specifically, to help me raise more capital and help more people?
Okay. So I mean, there's a lot of things that I could say to for tips and tricks. I like to kind of do a discovery call where I can find out more about you and what you do and because then I can kind of better sense how I would do it to teach you because that's how I do it with any of my students that reach out to me hey, I want to get my first deal, I want to raise capital, how do I do this? But just standard basic things that I like to say is one, um practice. I think again, a lot of people learn how to raise capital by reading the books, listening to the podcast, but what does it actually mean and see and show when you actually do it? So that means doing with friends and family. I even get on the phone with students and friends and I'm like, let's go. I'll be the cute nurse and you'll be the whatever, and then I'll be like, and
Yeah.
let's go, Stacy and I actually created our own role play that we do because when we are asked to go speak at events, and that's what we talk about is raising capital and how we do it. And so we actually did a role play that we created to show people how that actually works. And so my biggest thing is a lot of people are like, how do I ask people for money? Okay, well, here's what you do. You don't ask for their money. You find out what their goals are. What is their next big purchase? What is your goal in the next 5 years? Okay. So you want to ask questions and let them talk. People love to talk about themselves. Okay. So let's say you're standing in line at Starbucks. You see a dad behind you with his kid with soccer gear. Oh, what's up, dude? You going to you I see your kid, you got a soccer game going on? Oh, nice. That's what's up. Okay. What else you doing this weekend? Right? Ask questions. Okay. when you ask questions to people, it blows my mind how open people really can be when you ask questions. When you get into the point where you're like asking what people's goals are, you want to say things like, okay, so what do you want to do in 5 years? Oh, you want to buy a house? Okay, cool. Well, how are you going to buy a house? You're going to save? Okay. Well, how much do you think you're going to save in 5 years? Okay, cool. You use your 401. Awesome. Well, here's my question is, uh, basically, if you can raise or if you can save this much money, you're really thinking about like how much harder it's going to be for you to get this house because you can only save a very small amount every single month or every single year. I want to help you buy this house. I want to help you achieve these goals. I want to add value to you. And I have done this so many times where I say that in that conversation, and people are like taken back. Like, what do you mean you want to help? You don't know me. What do you mean you want to help me? But it's true. Like when you say things like that, people are like going to be like, how are you going to help me? Instead of buying this little tiny house, let me help you buy a 3 bed, 2 bath, like a house in the vineyard, okay, in Napa, California, whatever your goals, whatever your dreams are, I'm here to make that happen. I want to help you make your money work for you. So these are the things that I do when I talk to people is I find out what their goals are and then I learn from them. I take mental notes and then I do what's called a tie back. The tie back is where I listen to what you're saying and I bring it full force and I say, okay, cool, Trey, I know that you want to do this and this and this. So let me help you with that, right? When you do that, it builds this trust between you and the investor because they're like, oh man, they actually listen to what my needs are. And then I use that and I say, and then it creates this beautiful relationship. And and then even to this day, that first investor that I found, I talk to him like every month and I have learned more about his family. I learned about what his business that he does on the side. I learned so much more to then add more value to him, right? So these are things that I do. And then if you have a deal to show them, that's where it is extremely attractive. That's when you'd be like, bro, let me show you how I can make your money work for you. Get on this webinar. A lot of people think that you have to send them something. No, always meet with that person. Always show them together. That way you can ask the questions. They can ask the questions to you. And it's just a lot more, intimate.
Hold on. I got a super itchy throat right now.
Yeah.
That was all right. Yeah, that's very that's deep, like for real. So honestly, I'll be real, right? One of the things that makes me nervous is talking to strangers about their money, right? Which is why I'm probably choosing the more hard route to raising capital, right? Just straight through content, right? So I'm priming people that I
Hmm.
do real estate so that those conversations, at least they know me. So it's not me speaking to a stranger, right?
Yeah.
But for those people who don't have any reach on social media or maybe who aren't posting about real estate investing on their social media, what advice do you give to them when talking about money for the first time with a stranger?
So not using social media.
Yeah, well, their social media is like dog and cat pictures, right? Like there's no real reference to them raising money or being a real estate investor.
I mean, I would say, if anything, dudes, go to a network event and raise capital through a network event. I literally think that that is so powerful, and it doesn't even have to be real estate. Like, it could be whatever your niche is, like, whatever your W-2 is. Like, I tell my students all the time, use your W-2 to raise capital. You don't need to, like, start from scratch, or you don't have to just focus on the real estate realm, right? Like, I know so many people that are in the medical field, right? Dude, go to a network event. If you go to Facebook groups or Eventbrite, meetup.com, and you type in medical network events or nurses or whatever you want to do, doctor conventions, right? They will pop up so many. Okay. So let's say I'm a nurse and I want to raise capital in the medical field. I type that into, into Eventbrite. I go to that one and I go to that event and I can talk to that other nurse, that other doctor that has a fat 401, that has money just coming out of their ass because they're doctors, right? But they have no idea that I'm trying to also add value to them. Okay. Number one sales tactic, because I know it's not salesy, but this is something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people think about their own money. Okay. I don't want to talk to that person about their money because they probably don't got it. Why are you thinking with your own wallet? Think with that person's wallet. Okay. You don't
Oh,
know
that's a
that person,
bar.
right? You don't know
That's a
what that person got in
bar.
their wallet. You don't know that person got, sorry, grandma, dead grandma's money. You don't know what they got in the bank account, right? They could have been saving money from the time they were 10 years old. They could have $500,000 in that bank account, but walking around like Bill Gates with like mom pants and Nike shoes and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what people got until you know. Okay.
Right.
So go for anybody that doesn't know how to raise capital and they're really starting out fresh. Well, use something you do know. That's your W-2. Okay. So going back to like if I'm a nurse and I'm going to a nursing convention or something like that, and I'm talking to other doctors and stuff like that, I can talk to them about that all day long. Right? Be like, yo, what's up, Dr. Phil? What you doing? What you doing with all that money? But you have that conversation with them, you bring in multifamily into that conversation, bro. And that is where the relationship comes. That's where, it's a lot more comfortable for you to have that conversation. Like, I know you about to retire, Dr. Phil, because you old as hell. What you gonna do with all that money, right? Well, let me give you some tax benefits. Let me help you with that. Let me help you make your goals happen. And that's exactly how you say it.
Yeah. That's man, Dr. Phil.
Like he's looked the same, bro, for like 50 years. He's looked the same. Like
He
nothing's changed.
has. I mean, that's good, right? He's probably like 80, but he looks 50.
I've got 2 words for you. What was that, 3 words? Korean skincare?
What is this? What is that?
Korean skincare is, like, the best in the world. Edit this out, please.
Nope.
Somebody gonna come for me. I don't know.
Leave it in.
Yeah, yeah.
Korean skincare. I don't know what that is. But yeah, all right. So what does the next year look like for BNF Capital? And I purposely said I left out the 5 and 10 years because I know it's gonna change, right?
Yeah,
But
and
over
it's
the
very
next
difficult.
12 months,
Yeah.
what outside of raising $10 million, what else do you have?
I have so many things, Trey. So many things.
Hit me. And if anything, right? Like you can come
Yeah.
back to this episode a year from now and be like,
Mhm.
I did that, and I did that.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so in the next year, 2024, I wanna raise a $10 million for my debt fund. I want to acquire another 500 units. I want to create my own asset management company with Stacy Frill, Eden Kadani, and maybe some other people.
And
And
Trey.
yeah, and I also want to travel. I want to literally go do the things like I'm adopted and I'm from Romania, but I've never been back to Romania since I've been adopted. And I really want to go do that. I want to take some of the money that I've made and I want to start deploying it into things like I want to make music, like build music schools for kids in Romania who are kicked out in orphanages. I was married for 8 years and I was a stepmom. I want to take her, even though I'm not her mom anymore. I'm still like a special parent to her. I want to take her for her 8th grade graduation. I want to take her to Hawaii. Like I want to actually start utilizing my time and enjoying it and doing things and giving back and actually like spreading as much positivity and I don't know, dude, just do some cool shit.
Okay, so we got $10 million raised, a trip to Romania, a trip to Hawaii with the 8th grader. We have we're just gonna say one music school set up in Romania. Did I miss anything?
I wanna go to Italy.
Okay, so Romania, Italy, 10 million raised, trip to Hawaii with the 8th grade stepdaughter. No, we're gonna call her your daughter. With the 8th grade daughter and music schools in Romania. All right. Those are some big lofty goals.
You know, go big or go home. Think
I would
bigger.
think bigger. Who said that?
I think this one guy. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Tyler Devereaux.
Tyler kind of looks like Dr. Phil, but like when Dr. Phil was like 20. Just
That should be the very last thing of this entire episode. Should be
yeah. All right, we out. Deuces.
wow, Dr. Phil. That's so funny.
All right. Well, I think it is time to wrap up though. Any last tips for the audience?
Know your worth. You are
That's
good enough.
right.
You are good enough for all the success that comes your way, all the long nights, all the tears, the blood, all the shit that you have to go through to make sure that your journey happens and you want see the success, the freedom of time, financial freedom, generational wealth, passive income. It is all worth it, and to never give up because you deserve everything.
Amen. Where can the people find you?
Instagram, Ellie Baxter. Facebook, Ellie Baxter. LinkedIn, Ellie Baxter.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll drop all that in the description. Man, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I learned a lot. You're just a great person. I love you.
You are too. Seriously, Trae, the
Yeah.
moment you guys, if you have never met Trae, he's like this ginormous dude, right? But he's got the best hugs. Like, no, for real, Trae, I will never forget. I actually still have a picture on my phone from when we went to Dallas and you
Yeah.
hugged me and you was like the best hug. You have the best bear hugs. You're so genuine. And honestly, bro, like when I got your call like 2 months ago from you coming back into this realm, I am so stoked for you. And I'm so excited to see your journey and all the success because I think you're a phenomenal dude.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm gonna package that up, put it in my pocket, and just grab it when I need it. Cause
Call me
I
anytime and I'll just like
yeah,
beat you the fuck up. I will be your hype man.
hell yeah. Word to mother. Hey. All right, that's the end. Hey, we out of here. Deuces.